Recording. Okay. Sorry about the late delay. I'm sorry. You froze for a second. I'm like, I don't see the recording. So welcome to Creative Spirits, everybody, where we don't always start the second we're supposed to start, but we believe in divine timing and living gloriously in our raw and messy middle. So this is us. Really I'm so glad you've tuned in. If you're tuning in, we know you found us for a reason. And we're super excited that you're here listening with us today. Episode 2 of season 2. We're quite excited. We've got a good one for you again today. We're talking about intuition, and in particular, the mother's intuition. And I will sign this over to Kate because she has a beautiful card, a little story to tell us about why we decided to go with this topic today.
We absolutely do. So we're still looking at the broader theme of living, believing in ourselves and living in the present, living in that moment of self. And I know a lot of our listeners are mums, and Sherrie and I are mums. So when I noticed this beautiful, beautiful card that one of my friends created for a beautiful, beautiful mother's blessing, when I noticed this card on my altar this afternoon, I was like, whoa, this is what we can talk about as far as our intuition topic goes, because my friend got all of the women that were coming to the circle to share some advice for the new mother-to-be. A beautiful idea and a beautiful collective, a lovely energy for that mum-to-be. And I was a little bit like, oh, there's so much I can say. So I just left it to my Gumboots channel and channeled a message. And I think this message is going to give us loads to talk about this evening. The message went like this: trust and listen in you. There's a gentle hum within every mother, a mother's intuition. Have the courage to tune into her guidance. This and love for self is one of the greatest gifts you can give to you and to your babe.
I love that.
I mean, we've got great things to pull apart and talk about here, because we've got intuition, mother's instinct, intuition, and then we've got that foundation of self-love.
Yes.
So important.
And I also find that sometimes for me, I get quite confused. Is this my instinct, like my intuition, or am I denying myself self-love? And right. I think one of the best times for this, actually, so I'll open up the story with me and you can go from there. Last year, I signed up for 20 books to Vegas. I was so excited. I really wanted to go to this. For anyone who doesn't know, it's basically my tribe. Like, these people are like, we write for money and we love it. You know what I mean? Like, and we think it's an honor and a great thing that we get to live in a world where we can write books and get paid for it. And we're not about, bashing Amazon or any of these things. It is, what? We play by the rules, but it's a fantastic time to be living in this world. And so I signed up for it. And I was really excited. And the whole premise is that if you can have 20 books selling, I think, $7 a day, you make $50,000 a year. So you just need 20 books, $7 a day, which is quite exactly right. These are my people. So I was so excited. But at the same time, I bought my ticket, and it wasn't my first time. I'd done Smarter Artists Summit in Austin early in the year, so I knew I could leave my babies, and I admit, before Smarter Artists, which was also phenomenal and changed my life, I was still kind of hesitant, but I was like, no, you're fine. It's fine. You're just telling yourself. I knew it was mom guilt. It was mom guilt rolling over me. I didn't want to leave. And when I did leave, it was the best time ever and the best thing ever. Yes. But there was something about 20 books that I was like, I just didn't book the ticket. It wasn't even a case of I booked the ticket and I was regretting it, like with Smarter Artists. Like, really, am I going to get on the plane? I'm going to get on the plane. I kept hesitating. I kept hesitating. And my parents were actually going to be visiting us in Portugal because we were on the boat still at this point. And Patrick was sailing to the Canary Islands, and my parents were like, yeah, sure, we'll watch them, no problem. And I just didn't do it, and I didn't do it. Yeah, exactly. And I'm still, 2 weeks before I'm supposed to be getting on this plane, everyone's like, you haven't booked the ticket yet. Why haven't you booked it? And I'm like, you're right, I need to book it, but there's just something in me saying not to. And lots of people were also telling me, it's your mommy guilt. It's your mommy guilt. And I was like, you know what? Maybe. But there's something else. Like, it was stronger. Like, whenever I went to the tick, with Smarter Artists, it was mommy guilt. And I was like, but there was no pain right here. It was like a whole body type thing for me. And everyone's intuition is going to be different. But it was very much a blanket of guilt that was stopping me for Smarter Artist, and I whipped the blanket off and I got on the plane. But this was more. This was like a lead keeping me from getting on this plane. And then about 2 weeks, a couple days before the 2 weeks was fully up, my son had a seizure fever for the first time. And I literally thought I was watching him die in front of me. Like, it was horrible. There was also some miscommunication on the phone, and she told me he's not allowed to sleep after the seizure. Because he went blue and everything else. Exactly.
And all they
She's
want
like,
to do
make
is
sure he doesn't
sleep.
sleep. All they want to do is sleep. So I literally thought, and she's telling me to wake him up, and you can't wake him up. And anyway, it was horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So I wasn't going to leave him after that anyway. But even if I was, my parents looked at me and were like, your babysitting has been revoked. You know?
Yeah.
They're like, like, we're in a foreign country. We are not watching your baby. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not leaving him after that anyway. I'm not. So I think this is also, but for me, before this happened, it was very difficult to know, okay, which one is it? Is this smothering mother guilt, which is how now I do know. Is it like a feeling of being smothered? Then I know, no, this is mommy guilt. Self-love got to kick in, and I need to do what I need to do for me. Yes. But when it comes to this pain, there's a rock, there's like, no, there's something unmovable about this. Then I know, okay, this is my intuition kicking in, telling me that this is not the time for this. Something else is going to happen with your kids. You need to be there.
And I feel like there was so much more of a physical thing going on.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sometimes that mama guilt and stuff, we get caught up in our heads. And not the good kind, not the ground chakra kind, the negative mind chatter part of our heads, where we're like, well, yes, no, this is, it's almost a little bit of an ego dialogue too. No, yeah, this is definitely your intuition saying this. You better not do this, or you're going to be this or that, or judgment of this, or blah, blah, blah. But when you get that feeling, and yes, it is different.
Judgment,
absolutely,
yes.
Everyone in your body, like in your heart, it will all make sense soon enough. Definitely. Wow. Yeah. The seizures I've experienced, I've seen a friend's daughter have one of them, and I just cannot imagine what that would do to a mother. So love to all you mothers who have experienced that in your children. And when you don't know what they are, triple frightening.
And I didn't.
Yeah. So it was you just knew, and spirit is always guiding us, and spirit is always reassuring us, I guess, like, for want of a better word, in that situation.
Exactly.
That no, you're exactly where you need to be. You're exactly where you need to be. Yes.
Yeah. And this is just it, like, you think to yourself too, again, this whole ego head thing of, like, this is a big conference and these are your people and you get to meet people. And there's a couple of my, mentors were actually there presenting and holding lunches, and you're just like, oh, I get to go talk to this person, someone who I've only listened to, and I paid for their courses, and your head's going crazy, like, this is your chance, to really break out and get the information you need and the contact and da. And at the same time, like I said, there was just this feeling of, nope, not gonna happen.
Wow.
But it wasn't the head, and I think this is also important, and not going to happen, because sometimes it's your head telling you, again, like, you're not good enough. Who are you? And this is something I was actually thinking last night.
Yeah,
I was going to say, look, actually, this whole you're not good enough thing, which is the whole self-love and the intuition thing, is it's really hard to detangle that sometimes. Because I was thinking last night, like, what if it did explode? What would you do? And I really asked myself that, like, what would you do? And then I realized that part of me also always held back a little bit, because I always think, like, all the people who know me, they just know me as just Sherrie. Like, who is she to have, a big book following, or, yes, exactly. But everybody's that. But hey, this is just it. I know. Whoa. Exactly. This is why I want to talk about this with intuition and everything else, because this is the kind of thing that plays into your head too. That's ego. It's pure ego. Because you know what? Every single person out there at one point in time was just the girl next door for everybody. There's no one out there who exploded onto this scene without being somebody's girl next door, who they just could not imagine stepping up and doing this. Does that mean they stopped it? No, they did it anyway. But every single person struggles with this. And I think this is important to remember. But again, yes, right? There's no one who doesn't struggle with this. But sometimes it's hard to go, is this intuition, or is this my ego? Is it my intuition telling me no, not now? Or is this my ego telling me no, not ever? And I think this is something that we really struggle with.
And I think I have a tool for this, because I was struggling a lot with this when Monk first came out at the beginning of the year, and especially sharing Monk with family and friends. Oh, geez, I struggled. I really struggled. Not my close tribe by any means, but, you know, the family that I spent my whole life pleasing, and I want them to love me, but I still feel that I have to justify, or I still feel that I have to have validation, seek validation. And I realized that I was camping with some of my dearest, bestest friends, some that I know listen to our podcast, because that's how much they love and support me. But even camping with them, I really struggled to talk about, like, you know, the biggest thing that was happening in my life right then, which was sharing Monk and getting Monk out there. And I realized that I was downplaying it. And this was all ego, and this was all, oh, well, I'm trusting spirit, I'm trusting my intuition. No, your negative mind chatter has taken the reins, has taken over. And so I was saying things like, oh, it's just a book. Oh, everyone writes a book. Oh, every business uses a book to get people, you know, in. No, that's not why I'd written that book. That's not what Monk was. That's not what Monk is. Monk is about my spiritual rising. And I got back from that trip, and I realized that I had to spend time with bestest friends who love and unconditionally support me, yet I kept justing. You know, and that's what really triggered in me, my love, when you're like, oh, just Sherrie.
Downplaying everything.
What? And I'm like, no, this is the biggest thing, separate to, you know, my babies and my beautiful life, and even just starting Gumboots. But this was the next biggest thing I'd done, and the next thing's going to be the next biggest thing. And for me, that was huge. And it was a New Year's camping trip, and from that day on, I wrote a blog about it. I was like, no more justs, no more shoulds. I'd got rid of the shoulds. And shoulds, well, you know, let's not even get on the shoulds. Should have done no shoulds. And I'd really done well at getting rid of the shoulds. But the justs are so dangerous. Justs, I think, a little equal dangerous. All danger, all fear-led, all ego-led. And it wasn't my intuition saying, oh, don't talk about that with them. That was absolutely negative mind chatter, soul sabotage, ego, taking the reins. My intuition was dying because it just wanted to go, look at my book. Let's sit around the fire and read it. And I trampled on that, on me shining in a space that I was being held.
Yes.
I was with my people. I was being loved because, oh, it's just this. Because I mistaken my intuition, what my soul was bursting to do. And that's okay, because no regrets. That's a massive lesson came out of that I'm now sharing on this podcast.
Huge lesson. Exactly.
Huge lesson. But not after then, no more just. So it's been really interesting with Gypsy. It's like there's no just. It's like, oh yeah, she's here and she's great. Yep, read it. It's amazing because I will not just me. I will never let my children just themselves. And I love that we're using just as a verb now, but you all know what I mean. And none of us are just. And none of us are just. Whether you're listening to this in your car while your baby sleeps, or you're washing up, or you are about to launch something massive, don't ever think it's just a thing, because it could be the biggest gateway to the rest of the even bigger thing. I love that it went computery then.
It's opened up.
How's that? How is that?
Yes, Kate, everything you just said. No, perfection. Because, and we do this to ourselves, right? All the time. It's always about dimming ourselves and going smaller. And then it's really easy to be like, no, something's telling me not to do it. And this is when you check in. But what is telling me not to do it? Is it that dirty energy of shame and don't make yourself too big and tall poppy syndrome? You know, you don't want to dim other people by making yourself shine too bright. But no, it's not true. And you know what? Sometimes it is true. Sometimes when you turn a light up, people do dim down a little bit because they need to work through their own stuff.
Definitely.
And so I think we need to think of the long term here. That when you go bright and someone dims, don't think to yourself, oh God, I just dimmed them. think to themselves, no, I brought up what they need to work through so they can shine brighter later. And exactly what you said, there's no bad things that happen. There's no negative,
No.
You were just adjusting yourself. Now you've made it so that Gypsy can just explode out. And you had to go through that so Gypsy could explode out of you and be so proud.
And all the rest
and share these lessons with other people who may be sitting there going, I'm adjusting myself.
Yes, even just my blog, even just my, now I'm saying even just, but even my blogs, even my sessions, no more just, oh yeah, it's just at my house, or, just a bit. No, dangerous. Yes. Isn't it? It's really powerful.
It is.
And like words are powerful.
Because it's very slippery slope.
Yes, slippery slope. Yeah, definitely.
And I think people don't appreciate just how powerful words are. This is just it. Because again, we're telling ourselves that, it's like, I always think too, does the word open me or close me? And there's just is a word that makes you close. And even if you're just thinking to yourself, no, I just want to, make people feel better and not make them feel weird, make them think I'm egotistical or crazy, or even if you want to protect your enthusiasm, because that's something for me that I'm guilty of a lot, that I'm really enthusiastic about something, but I'm afraid of putting it out there because I'm like, what if it falls flat? And then all my enthusiasm looks so stupid,
Sherrie.
And now I'm just like, no, it's okay. Be enthusiastic.
The synchronicities in our lives are amazing. So for our listeners, Sherrie and I only talk once a week, and it is now. It is for our podcast. We press record, we go. But do you know what's so interesting about that? I just had to do a quick add in then, which is so interesting about that is that I just confessed on my blog on Monday that I just on Monday I said, I've done a lot of work about why I believe I can, why I'm empowering and why I'm positive. And I've done a lot of work on why I'm a positive person. And then in brackets I wrote, is that a thing? Why have I done work on being a positive, enthusiastic person? And like exactly what you just said, if you're bringing up something in someone else, well, great, you're bringing that up, but I'm not to take that personally. And a lot of my work has, again, really served me, no regrets, really glad that I have, sat with past life, present life stuff and worked through why I do have, such a positive, enthusiastic outlook on life. It's such a weird thing.
But it's wonderful.
It's wonderful. But, we do find ways to keep ourselves small. And those words, the justs, the shoulds, the negative chatter in our mind that convinces us that, oh, yes, this is us, this is our intuition. No, not serving us. Wow. And this is really even before we get into our intuition is often feelings and not words. So we're like, be careful of those words and be careful how we're speaking to self. Really bad self-love. But a really good tool of stepping away from that and into body and into feelings is don't just yourself. Don't ever just yourself and check in and go, okay, is this, I'm always on about the checking in, but is this ego? Is this really what I want to do? What do I really want to do? And know that it's safe to really do what you really want to do. It's so safe. Just do it if it feels right.
And it's safe if that means jumping off a cliff, and it's safe if that means running into your tent, pulling the sleeping bag over your head and reading. Yes. Both are okay, but you just got to do what you want to do, not what your brain tells you should do, rather what your body and heart and soul
you should do, because that's just all you can do.
Moment, which is very different.
So different. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, but I often find that too, because sometimes too, like even with this whole, it is very different, because you have to talk to people too about books, and I'm guilty of it myself. You get so wrapped up in what I have to do to launch, what I have to do to write to market, what I have to do here, what I do to and it's like, but what's your soul telling you? Do you want to write to market? And if the person's like, no, I absolutely do not, it's like, okay, well then you have to trust that it takes longer for you to make money. That's it. Just step back, breathe, and say, okay, I just need to trust that I will do what I want to do and it will come eventually. Now, if you're like, no, I want to write money, I want to write books for a living and I want to make money today, then you need to write to market. So again, there's no right or wrong. There's never right or wrong for anything in life, whether it's to show up or step back. the only right or wrong is coming from inside you, and you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And this is where your intuition comes in, because your intuition will tell you, is this the right reason or the wrong reason? Is this too soon, too fast? Am I going too slow? And I think it's something that we have smothered big time. And this is why I love with checking in too, because that's how you grow your intuition. If you're not checking in and learning, okay, because at first it is a big blanket. For a long time, I couldn't tell what was what, because even still sometimes I'm like, oh, this is a difficult one. I need to sit with it. And that's when I, do some oils and journaling, or maybe yoga practice. And afterwards I'm like, okay, that one took a lot longer to work through, but I got it. Or sometimes I ignore it completely and make a mistake. I mean, which is also okay,
You're meant to have that lesson.
This is what I get for not listening. Yes. Exactly. So I think it is really important to always be checking in and going, okay, what am I really feeling? And you know what? Again, like I said, there's no mistakes. There's a lesson. So either you don't move fast enough or you move too slow, and you realize, okay, now I know. I know what that feels like. Next time I'll try to correct it. Or not. Like, it's just a glorious life that we need to kind of be, and the whole point is getting in tune with ourselves and figuring it out and living as soul aligned as possible. But that is so difficult, and it's not easy. And I think this is important to remember, but also that you're modeling it for your children, and that they can see, okay, so the next generation will have it hopefully easier, because they're watching us do the check-in. They're watching us talking about being soul aligned. They're watching us talking about, okay, is this your intuition talking? Is this your head? I talk to my daughter about these things. I tell her, no, never just, and especially if she painted something for her brother and her brother's in a bad mood, he doesn't want it. She was so sad, because normally he's very excited. Normally he's very excited, like, yay, but the other day he was like, nope, I'm in a bad mood and I don't want it. And she came back heartbroken, and I'm like, but sweetheart, it's still a perfect, wonderful picture. It was nothing wrong. It was just where he was at this moment. You can't take that on for yourself. And she's 5, she doesn't understand it totally, but it's a conversation that we're having, so when it finally does click, hopefully she's not as far down along as I was when it finally clicked. So hopefully, I had like 6,000 miles to correct, and hopefully she only has 4,000.
Precisely. And it's so that language thing, especially with kids, is such a big one. It's a huge one, and we use a lot of language like, that makes my heart feel sad, and gosh, it kills me every time they say it back to me, like, Mommy, you got a bit angry and that made my heart sad. I'm like, oh damn it, I did, I'm sorry. And then I hope I Bonono them and myself, so
yes, and yourself, exactly.
As we go, forgive myself, ask them to forgive me. I model that for them as well. But all of this has come through that devotion to checking in, to tuning in, and really going, hang on, no. Often I will get a really overwhelming, it's similar to, I guess, Sherrie, that chest feeling, those butterfly feelings. And my head will be like, whoops, something bad's happening. No head.
Yep.
Often that feeling is something great's about to happen, but my mind goes to resistance mode. My mind goes, no, this can only...
This means change.
This can only be a bad thing. Sit very, very still. And now I'm learning go. And I do have that ability to channel and to check in with my guides and go, okay, what is this? But daily grind, if you're not doing that regular checking in, that regular devotion to your, 1 minute, 10 minutes, whatever it is, however you choose to make space, just like we're talking about last week, it is so easy, even for me who channeling messages and connecting to my guides is my work. It's so easy for me to fall into that, oh no, this is all wrong, go to bed, instead of going, oh no, that's actually press go on that. Like,
yes,
feel that feeling. Yeah, is this my mind? Is this my heart? What is what? And there's no clear answers, because we're all different. There's no right or wrong. I've had friends who have said there's no such thing as mother instinct. I've got friends who don't believe in spirit. That's fine. They're probably not listening to this. But what is absolutely okay for the people who are here going, yeah, I kind of get this, is what I talked about in this card. There's a gentle hum in all of us, and it's our intuition calling us. And when you tune into that gentle hum, for me, It was the gentle hum I found when I was walking the girls for a walk down our laneway, and I got the message "Gumboots by the Sea," and it was just my Instagram tagline for a while. That's the gentle hum. It's the gentle hum that makes me send a resignation into my permanent teaching position. Gentle hum. It's the, you know, the gentle hum that's like, I have to call this friend. Oh, hello, you okay? This has happened. Gentle hum. And it's honoring that gentle hum, and it's being able to say, no, I can't do that, and not feel that you have to justify it because the gentle hum was there, just like Sherrie was talking about with the summit. Gentle hums exist, and we want to hear about your gentle hums or how you're finding ways to tune into it, because for me, changing that language was huge, and being aware of the lessons when I don't listen to it and going, whoa, I knew that.
Yes, exactly.
Often too,
I think that's huge.
Yeah, surrendering. I find I do this a lot. I'm like, okay, I'm really confused now. Am I overthinking? Am I this? So I will do one of two things. I will cut that negative mind chatter and surrender to a certain chakra wherever I'm sort of feeling, or I'll literally say, Spirit has got this. It's working out exactly as it needs to work out. I don't need to tune into intuition or thought. I just need to surrender and let it be. Do you ever do that, Sherrie?
Yeah. Oh, I do. I was actually just thinking that just then because I think I just got bit by a mosquito. People surrendering. I'm in Tobago, right? Don't be dengue. You know, I think that goes in my head. Exactly. No, it's not. But, you know, just so you know how crazy I am sometimes. You know, like everything's like.
That's where Sherrie just went, everyone.
Exactly, right? But seriously, sometimes I think it is important to share that because people are like, aren't you scared? Aren't you scared? And I'm like, of course I'm scared. I'm every time I scratch, I think I've got dengue. You know what I mean? But, you know, you do it anyway because I know the chances of having dengue, it's there. Of course it's there. You put yourself out there in this negative mind chatter. It's not that it's telling you complete lies. It's telling you possibilities. You know, it's very well that the most horrible thing that you're thinking of could actually happen. It's not a high chance it's going to happen. In fact, it's probably only a 1% chance. But, you know, you roll the dice often enough, that 1% is going to come up. And I think that's the important thing to be, is to surrender, to go with, okay, you know what, I'm doing the best I can. And I've got two choices. I can live my life in fear, or I can live my life in trust and surrender. And I'm going to live my life in trust and surrender. And that's the only way to truly live. And that's not saying bad things are not going to happen to you or good things are not going to happen to you. It's saying that I'm living, I'm alive, I'm cultivating that fire inside of me that says, I'm doing the best I can at this very moment, and I feel great. And you know what? What goes up always comes down. There's going to be a time you come down. But you know what? If you live your life, you know, constantly in protection bubble mode, you're still going to come down. You just didn't get those highs before you hit your low. Like, there is no such thing as protecting yourself completely. You just can't do it. So the important thing is to kind of be constantly checking in, going into your intuition and being like, okay, this feels good. I'm doing it. Yes. And when that brain starts going, go, yeah, I hear you. Like Elizabeth Gilbert often talks about in Big Magic. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, but I'm driving the car. You know, getting back. I'll tell you to shut up sometimes, you know, but otherwise, thanks for the protecting me, but I'm driving.
Yeah, fear will keep us small, beautiful souls, and we're here to rise. Like that. Yes. That's what we're doing. That's in whatever way that feels right for you. Whatever way feels right for you. We are absolutely all here to rise, and we're all here to rise and empower one another too. Like, it can be that easy as well, and
that hard. You know?
And as always,
like Neil Gaiman says, it's as easy as putting words on paper, and that hard. Exactly. I love Neil Gaiman.
Absolutely. So I think I just can't wait to hear how people respond to this. Like, yes, whether they get the hum or the whole body feeling, or whether they've just picked up on one little thing, like change the way they're using language, cut ties with the negative thought patterns, tune into a chakra, whatever feels right for you. Trusting in the intuition likely brought you to this, likely got you to press play. And, you know, wherever you go next is likely when you surrender and trust, going to be spirit-led, and true magic happens in this place. True creative magic happens in this space and place. And We're blessed to be journeying with you all.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
And maybe we should end on that because I think yes,
so.
my family just came back.
Divine
like,
timing, Sherrie.
Divine timing. Like, wrap it up.
As always,
Perfect
beautiful souls. Thank you for listening. And Sherrie and I will be back next week to talk about how we believe in ourselves, literally living in self and soul.
Yes.
Ciao.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.